Well, it's one of those days where you go to school, you get the grade, and you don't get the grade that you want, and yet you still come home and you feel obligated that you have to do this blog. And it's just one of those days where it's just like you want to just go out, scream your head off, and just make everything better. For me, I just like to eat my feelings away. But that's just me. As I was flipping through the site, of Dr. Carter's blog site, ibriancarter.com, I came across a video that was put onto his blog entry called Unchained Memories from the HBO series that they did with the Library of Congress. And the first thing that I saw was Samuel L. Jackson reading a slave narrative. And seeing Samuel L. Jackson read a slave narrative in the language of the time, it really takes you back, to a time when, us as humans, almost 2-3 generations ago, would do that to other human beings. Whip them, chain them, beat them for no apparent reason just because they weren't pushing a cart fast enough. And then, hearing Whoopi Goldberg's voice, talk about them and other, various artists, actors, people of black heritage and African Americans who are famous, and they look back on their lives and their mother's lives, their grandfather's lives, and everything else, they really see that this cannot go away. For the most part, I think that if we see documentaries by people that are telling us about times in the beginning, times in the end, and times during the past, we get a deeper sense of notion of what our history is about, whether it's the beatings, whether it's the classic, version of oneself. But for the most part, seeing those things written down in the writing and the language of that time, and then telling them about, the things that went on, the true things, and not, an elaboration, and then speaking to the reporters about having, without fear of retaliation, that's huge. That really brings you back, and that really, makes me feel better as a person that you're reading these, that, people thought that, I'm going to be killed for telling you this. It's not that bad. You're trying to make it to the point where it's like, okay, I'm making sure that everything is fine. I'm going to tell my story, and it's going to live on in this person's writing. And I think that's what it's done here. There's numerous folk tales. There's numerous slave narratives. There's numerous other things that are going on, and I think that what we now in the present time of 2012 have to understand, is each generation is different. Each generation has their own stories. Each generation has their own experiences. And I think if we wrote our experiences down for the next generation to read, or so far after, they would, be deeply humbled at what they have, at what they don't have, at, what is experienced now, because each generation has their own experiences to pass on. And I think that's different for everyone. Well, this has been my blog entry for today. Hopefully I'm in better spirits. It's just one of those days where it's like you have to keep going, and it's just very difficult. It's just, I think I may, do a video blog, because I'm seeing how much easier it is to talk about your feelings on here, or just expressing oneself. I think that's the main thing. So, have a good day, y'all, and go Bears.